welcome to a replay of Blockhead U. Please sit tight for a minute. I am going to wait for people to join the live, and I'm going to find my co-host who should be joining momentarily. If we haven't met before, my name is Melanie and I'm in Toronto. If you're watching, please in the chat or in the comments, let me know your name and from where you are joining. Hi everyone. All right. Megs. And hi everyone. Today is the 29th anniversary of the release of Face the Music, and the New Kids social media account has asked us what our favorite track is from the album. So, since we started a little bit early, please in the comments let me know what your favorite track is off of Face the Music. Ashley, if you are here, let me know. I'm going to look for you in the meantime. Sorry, I probably should have jog, yes. Hi, Melanie, a few minutes away. Yes, you are in West End, Toronto. Hi, Larissa. Okay. If you go away, yes, that's always a favorite, especially when they perform it live. Definitely has a special place in my heart. Hi, Melanie. There's another Melanie in the chat. Go figure. Face the Music. Meg says, Face the Music is my second fave, only behind the block. Hi, Jules. All right, let's see. If you go away forever and always, but the whole album, yes, a lot of people were commenting today on social that there's no skips on Face the Music. All right. Ashley, I keep accepting your request to join. I'm going to send you an invite. Maybe that'll work better the opposite way. Okay. Oh, that's weird. I'm seeing like a set of like some new menu items on my screen now that I've never seen before. So this is interesting. This is different. All right, Ashley, I have sent you a couple invites and they don't seem to be working. No skips, even love the intro, yes. Okay, there she is. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? How's your snowstorm?
Well, thank you. Oh God, I think it's mostly, my dog loves it. If you saw my stories that I posted this evening, my dog loves the snow. So, you know, I'm happy for him, but for me, not so much. But it seems to turn into like rain right now. It's mostly like wet snow.
Oh,
so I'm
that's
hoping it's going to
gross.
go away real soon. What about you? Are you having a snowstorm where you are? Because it seems like every week you are.
No. Oh gosh, my ring light is going crazy. Oh my God. I'm sorry.
You know, like a disco happening there. What is happening?
I don't know. I'm trying to I don't know. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, I'll just keep talking while I'm figuring it out. So it's like gonna be 4 degrees tonight, so it's just really cold. So
okay. I don't know what 4 degrees means because you're talking Fahrenheit and I'm speaking Celsius, but whatever. I'll take your word for it that it's cold.
Between time zones and temperatures, I'm gonna learn so much by doing this.
I know.
We're gonna be experts on everything.
Yeah. All right, should we get started? Yeah. Because I know I see one of our next guests already here. So, all right. Entertain everybody, Ashley, while I find them. No pressure.
I'm trying to figure out my ring light while we're also doing that. So,
okay, people in the chat, entertain yourselves.
We'll do a light party. Everyone tell me what color should I? This is blue. Green. Oh, that's not bad. Blue, a little interesting, but hello.
There we go.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
And I have sent an invite to, oh, there she is.
We're all good.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Gang's all here. Yes.
Gang's all here.
And of course, my dog is having a meltdown, so we're just going to ignore him for now. He's fine. Can you two introduce yourselves and tell us from where you are joining?
I'm Renee. I'm from Dearborn Heights, Michigan.
I'm Rafeef. I'm from San Diego,
it's nice
California.
to meet you too.
Wow. How on earth did you guys meet, being that you're from like completely opposite places?
If you want me to answer, or are you gonna?
Go
Okay, we
for
were
it.
in a cruise chat before the cruise, this last cruise, and I saw her name, and I was like, "That's unique." I'm like, then I sent her a private message. I'm like, "Are you Lebanese?" Because her name is unique, obviously, Rafeef. And she said she was. I'm like, "Oh my gosh, so am I." And then we just started talking, and she's in California right now, but she's originally from Michigan.
Oh,
So we just started talking, and I'm like, "Where did you?" She told me she grew up in Michigan. I'm like, "Really? What high school did you go to?" We ended up going to the same high school. She graduated 2 years before me. Yep, she graduated as my sister, but we had never met.
but so if she graduated 2 years ahead of you, then you would have been probably there at the same time.
We were never met each other
For 2 years.
She knows my
Yep.
brother-in-law. She knows my sister.
I knew her sister, hung out with her sister all the time.
That's
First time I
so
met her
cool.
was on the cruise by the elevator, waving at her.
For like
Yep.
3 minutes, and that was it. For the whole cruise, that's all we got to see each other because it was
That's
so
wild. Especially
chaotic.
if you start to think about, like, I'm sure you reminisced about the past. Like your paths have probably crossed so many times, like actually physically crossed each time, like so many times, and you didn't even know.
Yeah.
Her sister married a family friend of mine too.
And she's all the way to California now, and it's just a crazy story. Crazy, crazy, crazy story. What a small world.
And to power of you kids.
Yeah.
Definitely, 100%.
Seriously.
So the two of you were both at Carnegie. Well, I think now it's nearly 2 weeks ago to see Joe. So can each of you tell me, what were your highlights at the show? What was your favorite parts of the performance, or some highlights?
Go ahead, Rafeef.
For me, it was him performing with his sister to the song from
Oh, that was
Oliver,
from Oliver.
because it connects
That
me
was
to
my
my
favorite
other
part
favorite
too.
band.
But I didn't realize that was from Oliver.
Yeah. Yes, because my other favorite band is called the Monkees from back in the 60s. And the main singer, that was the first song he ever performed in the United States on the Ed Sullivan Show with the Beatles on the same show. He was like 16. Davy Jones, exactly. So when I heard that, and like every other song thereafter, there's like an emotional connection to it one way or the other. Like every time you recovered, there was another one, and it was just a beautiful experience. I actually missed the part where all the new kids came. I didn't see the last 45
we'll get into
minutes.
that later.
But we'll get to that later. But but it was just an amazing experience. And to be at Carnegie Hall,
You're right.
that has a history.
What about you, Renee? What was your highlight?
Oh gosh, that would have to be. I know I'm being biased here, but when Donnie Wahlberg came out on that stage, I had a broken kneecap, and I had to keep my leg like straight, and I had no like leg room. So I went to the bathroom, and I had asked them if I could, if they have anything closer. And I had my two daughters with me that were 11 and 13. She's like, "Well, we have front row available off to the left." I'm like, "Well, that is perfect." But
wait,
when
front row, them, like very front row?
Yep. Okay,
because you know what? I was way up, and I saw those two empty seats, front row, off to the left. The last two, they were empty for most of the show, and I was like, "Who does that belong to?"
Yeah, we were to the right. Yeah, she's like, "We have 3 left, but if I were you, I'd sit in the back. You could see more." I'm like, "No, we'll take the front." And then the usher like put a chair there for my leg to be straight. And then my little girls, they're baby blockheads, so we were just like screaming our heads off. But seeing them all, like, I know Donnie said he was gonna come, but just like seeing them all on stage together, I was just like, "Oh my goodness!" It was just the whole thing was just amazing from beginning to the end. It was just awesome. I did leave a little bit earlier too. But I did not 45 minutes though.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what, Rafeef, when you mentioned that your favorite part of the show was the song from Oliver, it reminded me, we were all on the cruise. Do you remember when Joe had us sing Tomorrow from Annie? That was like,
yes.
Because I used to be obsessed with that version of Annie, and like I wanted to be Annie. I thought she was so cool. I wanted to be an orphan. Of course, I didn't know what an orphan was. So thank God I wasn't one. But like that was a fun moment for me when we got to sing Tomorrow. It was kind of random, but I enjoyed it. So shout out to whatever blockhead that was, who dressed as Annie on the cruise.
Couldn't agree more. I love that too. We actually went when we were in New York. My friend and I, Debbie, went to the Chrysler building because of the Annie reference.
Make this
in the
shine
movie,
like the top of the Chrysler building. Yeah.
Chrysler, yeah.
Okay, I have to. Oh, you know what? I've never done that in any of my trips to New York. I have to do that next time, for sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know you did that. That's pretty
What's that?
awesome.
Yeah, we did.
So you guys were there for the show, obviously, but you also organized an after party.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we all saw clips of it on social media, which was really cool. Can you tell us, where was it held?
Go ahead, Rafeef.
We held a dinner at the Trattoria restaurant right next to Carnegie before the show. And we held the after party at the Hard Rock Hotel, the new Hard Rock Hotel rooftop lounge, just about like a half-mile walk down.
Okay, and for anybody who doesn't know, so last week we talked to a few blockheads who went to Joe's after party. So this was, you guys were throwing your own after party. And from what I recall, like, there was a wait list. Like, there was a lot of demand, a lot of people who wanted to attend, right?
Yeah, we had 100.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
originally
Renee.
I had asked for a table for 30 people. And it just kept growing, and it got up to 100, then it got up to 140, then it got up to 180. It just kept like snowballing.
Right.
It was amazing.
It was at 260 before he announced his after party, because he wasn't supposed to have one. So we said, we'll throw one because we want to get everybody together. And then that week he threw one, but we still had like nonstop people. We had 180 people show up that were allowed in, because
comments are all commenting too. If they were there, they're saying they had an awesome time. It was so much fun.
It was so much fun. So much. No drama. No, it was just amazing. The view was amazing. We had the cake. The DJ was amazing. The whole thing from beginning to end was just amazing.
So somebody's asked again, where was the party? It was at the Hard Rock Hotel in New York City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. At the rooftop lounge there, that has like a capacity normally of like 150. And he's like, we'll see what we can do. And he just kept letting us let more and more people up. So we just said, people, come by, check it out, because we don't know. We couldn't say outwardly that they might let you in. We just had to let them kind of show up. So they had special wristbands. There was he didn't take any reservations from anybody else except for hotel guests were able to come up, but they were having a blast because they loved the music. It was free. He even brought a special DJ for us.
I want to ask about that later for sure.
Like played. Yeah. And he let us take over the mic. At first it was, you couldn't do a cake. You couldn't have more than this many people. You couldn't put up your banner. You couldn't use the microphone. By the end of the night, he was like, do whatever you want.
You guys
and he was so nice.
I'm sure he was feeding off the energy of the crowd a bit, because like,
he had a blast. Joseph, the manager, he had a blast. He had a great.
He became part of our Facebook group and was checking on what things we had going on, asking us now to help promote some of their events, which we were willing to do. I mean, he turned out to be a childhood friend of one of our members who had said, hey, anyone in New York, where would be a good place for us to have a party? And then she ended up not being able to come because she went to Joe's after party.
So what was the most challenging part in organizing this? Like, do you guys have event planning backgrounds? Have you ever done this before?
No.
I had done it on a volunteer basis with a nonprofit I worked with, but never like Renee said, it started off as, hey, because we had like 300-400 members going, do you guys want, we have a Facebook group that started all this. We started the group right when Joe said he had tickets coming up on sale for Carnegie right before the cruise. We had maybe 20-30 people after the cruise, and one day it turned to 300 people, just like that. And then we're like, do you guys want to do touristy things together? Do you want to do dinner after party? And they're like, yeah, people were waffling. And then that's when Renee like hit the pavement and started calling different places. And the biggest challenge really was getting people to speak up at first that they wanted to do it. I mean, like she said, we had 40 people, and the next week later we had 140, and we're like, we weren't prepared for 140.
You can't, you're on a waiting list.
Right.
That was so
when it's free, and everything was free. The favors were free. The cake and like entry was free. Everything was free. You were just responsible for your own tab at the bar.
We did little contest. We didn't make any money off the party. I don't want anybody to think we did. We did everything from us.
We did T-shirts. yeah, we had someone design T-shirts. People ordered them, and all they paid for was the actual product and shipping. People were just having a lot of fun with it, and people were connecting. Our group allowed people to find roommates, find people to, you know, take an Uber with. Like, who were you sitting with? Like, it was just really nice that way. And then at dinner, people started meeting each other because we had 8 reserved tables. We had 80 people show up, and the restaurant helped us do that. So people were connecting that way
every day.
It was just a lot of fun.
And the restaurant that you had dinner at, isn't it the restaurant? Like, didn't Joe say that was one of his favorite spots in New York? Yeah.
Yes, because in December I saw Joe at the Bourbon Room. So I gave him, we had made like specialty postcards just with our event, just to have like a memento. And I showed it to him. He goes, wow, this sounds amazing. That restaurant's my favorite. I wish I could join you guys. You know, I can't do it before dinner, but maybe after. Kind of left it at that. So we were like excited at maybe the opportunity, but then they ended up making their own plans. But yeah, they even told us when we walked in, they're like, he might come up here after the show. We're like, no, we're pretty sure he has his own party, but maybe another time. But the restaurant was amazing. They were like having us sing, and they were talking to us and like seating people together. And we tried to be as organized as possible. I mean, I had clipboard and documents and sign-ins and everything. We wanted to make sure that Blockheads represented themselves well.
And essentially, because you were hosting this after party, you missed a part of Carnegie, right? You missed the new kids on stage. That's a big sacrifice.
I left. It was, well, we didn't know, but B, I was like, oh, I had to get to the Hard Rock to set up because we couldn't have the tables until 10:30. So it's like, I need to get there and set up the favors. We also had like special party hats that were personalized with Joe's picture on it, and to make sure the cake was okay and all the extra, so that when people showed up, I was there and ready to greet them because they had special wristbands. Security was there with us, letting people in and counting them. So it was a big bummer, but I mean, thank God nobody listened to the rules at Carnegie and recorded.
Well, I wasn't at I was not at any after party, but thank you for sacrificing seeing part of the show for the other Blockheads and for creating a good time for them afterwards.
You know, we all have, real life is so hard for all of us. And to have that weekend away for me was a big step for my family. I have a special needs kiddo. My mom has been hospitalized multiple times. And so I knew that taking that time, people were sacrificing all together. And then when they entrusted us to do this, I'm like, we have to make sure we deliver.
Okay, so you mentioned the favors, that you had some like items that you were giving away. Can you give us some more detail on what those were?
We had bracelets. We had wristbands. I have one. I have one of the bracelets that Amanda made. We had the hats. What else did we have?
The buttons.
Oh,
postcard.
Wow! Who all these?
Chocolate. So I worked with another Blockhead, Jennifer, who actually started out with me by doing the buttons for the Bourbon. Then we talked about having buttons done again for Mohegan and then Carnegie. And she also made a special postcard. And then Amanda, a friend of mine, made special bracelets with earring sets that she gave out to a lot of people. And also another postcard. And then we ordered these wristbands that came all the way from Australia. They gave us a good deal. So I was able to get like 170 of them. So we paid out of pocket, Renee and I, for everything from the contests to the supplies for everything. A friend donated a cake. Another donated a happy birthday banner for Joe. We couldn't hang it up.
And there was cake, right?
Posted.
The cake was so good.
Yeah.
Fireworks and
edible cake. Yeah, that was edible picture cake. Yeah. It's so much. Yeah, they gave us sparklers. So I walked in. It was like a little runway with like all these sparklers going everywhere. I was so afraid.
It's nice because a lot of the Blockheads were like, what can we do? What can we donate? Like, it was just like, it was so sweet. Like, everybody wanted to help. Anything that they could do to help, they just kept saying. Everybody just kept asking, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? It was just awesome. And they're starting to ask us now, you know, about what can we do? What can we help with? Yep, we're ready.
It's the next one, yeah. Yeah, and we're planning on it. I mean, we're just waiting for that cruise announcement to see about doing a pre-cruise party. Because a lot of times, it was my first cruise this year. I think, Renee, yours too. So we didn't know anybody. I had just jumped on that October into social media. This is all new to me in that respect. But so it was just my roommate, my college friend and I. And so to do something where everybody can like meet up before the madness starts, I think
That's
would
the
be really
plan
fun
for
to
this.
get people
As soon as we
energized.
hear where they're going to be sailing from, we are definitely doing a party the night before.
But you guys set the bar really, really high, so I'm sure you'll deliver.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We had a lot of fun doing it. I mean, when you're passionate about something and it's so joyful, it's so easy to do, to work on those details.
What do you think about this? What do you think about this? I called this place. Are you going to call this place? It just kept going back and forth. We're on speed dial.
I believe that. So you mentioned the DJ. So the videos that I've seen that people posted from the party, like they were playing a lot of new kids. So how
that was the
this
plan.
guy was
Yep.
this guy knew what he was doing. You guys had prepped him. How did that all happen?
When I talked to Joseph, the manager, we were talking about the new kids on block. He's like, I'm gonna get you a DJ that will play Tiffany and a lot of what was he playing? Like New Edition. He's like, and one that specializes with new kids on the block.
90s,
I was like, wow. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna get a special one just for you guys. And that DJ was amazing. Rafeef did we made our own
playlist.
No, what is it called?
No.
We did our own
an after party like Donnie does on the cruise. So he let us grab the microphone and let me announce that. But yeah, we had another gal that we connected with that week, Raven, who's a DJ herself, who also came and has her own podcast. So she was interviewing people, and then she had her assistant actually working with the DJ, knowing what songs to kind of keep playing. And he would just, if he didn't have it, he would look it up.
That was a perfect choice from that manager. I mean, Joseph, shout out to Joseph. He was amazing.
Yeah.
He
was incredible. Very, very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, to give us all of that for free too was something, because he said, I can't guarantee, what did he say? He goes, normally the rental fee for that place is $40,000. Yeah, and I'm like, well, I don't have that kind of money, but if
that was very
free,
nice
that would be great.
I think it's so interesting when I'm hearing all these like great customer service stories that people assume when they're going to New York City, like everyone's going to be so rude. And like, this is your experience is my experience. Anytime I've ever been there, it's been, the people are, I mean, yes, there's a level of rudeness on the streets, but the service industry there is incredible. And it's so cool that they did all of this and made that experience. You guys
friends with him. We talk to him all the time.
Yeah, even when we went out to breakfast one morning to juniors, we told them, look, we're a group of like 20 people. We've come from all over the world. This is like the first time a lot of us are meeting. We really want to sit together. They're like, sit tight, we'll make it work. I mean, getting 20 people at a restaurant in New York City together on,
I think
it's unheard of.
Mission now is to get him on a boat. You have
to
convince him. You turn him into a blockhead. Convince him that the party continues on the boat.
Yeah, he's been sending us pictures. He's like, look, I saw this new kid from this antique store, and I saw this. Yeah, he has an event coming up on Friday at the lounge with Joey Fatone and one of the guys from like Wayne Morris from Boyz II Men on Friday night in New York City. So like he's been talking to us about that. And it's like, darn it, I wish it was the same weekend we were there. That would have been fun to do.
If anybody is in New York and wants to go to that party with Joey and Wanye, like how do they find out more?
We can give you guys the link. He sent us the link to the after party.
And it's on our website.
Friday night at the lounge at Hard Rock.
Okay. So contact one of these two and they can give you details if you want to go to that party. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so
for sure. This is one of those obscure links.
With the cruise, we were asking about legendary moments, but what for you two was your highlight of your after party?
Just seeing it come together, honestly. Like we've been working on it for 3 months and not realizing it would be as big as it was. And then obviously when Joe announced his plans, we're like, that's it, our party's dead. But everyone said, no, we're still coming, or we'll go there and come to you. And they did. And just seeing everybody happy and dancing and just like it all came together and nothing went wrong. It was just really nice.
And you came out with that cake and the fireworks. I was just like, wow, I can't believe this. Yeah, there's people were drinking, they were having a good time, and Rafeef and I don't drink, and we just had a blast, and Raven being there, and our friends being there, and just all these girls that we connect with, that we talk to on a regular basis now, and just seeing them and them having a good time. That's all we wanted. That was our mission. Just everybody to have a blast.
And then the feedback we got after we weren't expecting, getting all the posts and the links and the videos of, you guys need to do all the New Kids events. We want to see what you have next. We'll help you. And, you know, sorry we couldn't be there in the beginning. And,
Oh yeah,
like all these things have been great.
Everybody's been so sweet and thanking us and all that. It was just amazing. What a great time.
Well, congratulations, you guys, on a successful event and for pushing through and still hosting it even after Joe announced his. Maybe you lost a few people, but it's, you know, it sounded like Ashley and I missed a great time. Maybe we'll be at the next one, hopefully.
Next you guys one. Have to come to the next
Absolutely.
One.
Okay, we'll let you guys know when we know.
The party. It's fine. We're there.
Yeah. I'm there as long as there's cake.
It was good too.
We'll make sure there will be. It'll be a great cake this time, not just Joe.
And just a reminder,
thank you so much.
You see Blockhead U up in your left-hand corner. If you click the little arrow down, then you can see everyone who's joining us, what their sign-ons are, what their ats are.
So you can follow them on Instagram.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Rafeef, did you want to tell them about the campaign before we get off? We have time.
Yeah.
Can we do that really fast?
Yeah, go for it.
On a side thing that has nothing to do with Carnegie or Joe or the cruise, but Renee is a Donnie girl, and we started working on a campaign to make Donnie People's Sexiest Man Alive in 2024. We've already been reaching out to people. We've reached out to Wahlburgers, and there's interest on doing something. So that's coming up. It's down, and there's a Facebook group just for that as well.
We have a petition going.
If you tag us and reach out to us, we can
tell you all that. We have a petition going too.
Well, thanks.
Well, I mean, I think that this is like an easy to put him on the list. Obviously, he should be on that list, but still, you've got a lot of campaigning to do. So best of luck with that. Keep us posted. You know, keep us posted on your social media if there's any way that we can help support that, where the petition is, etc.
Okay. Hope to see you guys at the next party.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll share that with you.
We'll be there.
Guys.
Hopefully the cruise announcement soon.
All right. Bye, guys. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. Okay. Bye.
You know, it's fun talking to people about all this stuff with Carnegie, but I'm definitely having FOMO.
I know. Sorry, Ashley. Well, one more week of talking about Carnegie.
The next thing,
yes,
which also sounds amazing,
is not Carnegie related. So we're giving you a break.
Okay, that's good.
Okay,
but again, into this next thing either.
Pardon?
I said I'm not going to Houston either.
Well, yeah, me neither. But oh well, at least we'll be miserable together. Okay, I've sent my invite. So Terrie.
All right, and she's looks ready to roll.
Okay, let me try again.
While we're waiting for Terrie, what are you hoping is the next announcement?
Anything really. Anything to put in my calendar. You know, this is kind of generally around the time we'd be getting cruise info. So like we've said before to Donnie and like a few lives ago, it'd be great if there's a little bit of space between when the announcement hits and when the on sale happens. But yeah. What about you? What are you hoping is the next announcement?
I feel like the cruise is a given. Like,
okay, hold on 1 second. Terrie, if you're here, it's saying that you are unable to join. Okay. I see that you've sent a request. I'm going to accept that.
Perfect.
Hopefully it works that way. But sorry, Ashley, what were you saying?
Nope. I'm excited. I feel like maybe there's something cooking that is unexpected. Like the Houston show is completely unexpected.
Right.
I feel maybe after the pandemic, they're in a thought process of like, let's give them something interesting. So I don't know what I'm hoping for, but I'm hoping it's something like completely different. Hi, Terrie.
Well, it's only a matter of time. Hi, Terrie.
Hi.
Please introduce yourself to everybody and let the folks know from where you are joining.
My name is Terrie Williams, and I live in, Houston area, Texas.
Very cool. And we, Terrie and I were sitting very close to each other at Carnegie. I just managed to wave, and that was it.
I sent her a message. I see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so one of the reasons that we asked you to be here was not just because you're a wonderful human being, but also because you are a season ticket holder at the Houston Rodeo. So you have a perspective on this whole situation that you've been very kindly sharing on Facebook. We thought maybe it'd be something we could bring over to Instagram and have you kind of talk about that a little bit. So how many years have you been going to the rodeo?
I've lived in Texas since I was 6 years old. I was born in Alabama, but my first rodeo was Billy Ray Cyrus. So, I mean, how long ago was that? In the 80s, for sure. And then like Toby Keith, I think Toby Keith opened for Billy Ray Cyrus. That's when they had opening acts at rodeo. But I've been going for a long time. And then as far as the season tickets go, I used to help this man. So the Houston Rodeo is all ran by volunteers. Everything is volunteer ran. All of the money that they raise goes back into the agriculture departments for all the schools, and all of that, it goes to scholarships for all of those kids that are there showing all of their animals. All of those animals that you're seeing in the NRG Center those are all raised by high schoolers and by middle schoolers and by small kids. And so they sell those animals, auction them off there, and all that money goes back into their scholarships. So there's a gentleman that I used to work with that he is a volunteer there. He had volunteered for like 40 years. And so these are his season tickets that I've helped him I've been at my job 30 years, and I've always helped him sell the tickets. So when he retired, I just took over the tickets because it's easier to own tickets and pick what you want to go to. And not, I mean, you guys know how hard it is to find good tickets to anything. So rodeo is a little bit different because pretty much everything from the 500 section down all the way to the dirt are all owned by season ticket holders. So if you don't have season tickets or know somebody that does, then you're going to be in the nosebleeds, or you're going to be paying a lot of money for good seats. So that's why I own them.
So when the New Kids announced that they were going to be playing the Houston Rodeo, maybe for some of us, like me, who were a little unfamiliar with it, were a bit taken aback, like, okay, trying to make the connections. But then when I looked at the lineup, I could see it's predominantly country acts, but there are some non-country acts like New Kids this year. So what are some of the other maybe non-country acts that have played at the rodeo
in the past?
Yeah.
So the rodeo's always been a mix of country. They always have country acts. They always do a Tejano night. They always do a Black Heritage night. They always do a pop night, and then they'll have a rock night. So and that's always been the case every year. So in the past, they've had ZZ Top, they've had Journey, they've had let's see, George Strait. He's country, but he holds the record. There was like 80,000 people there in attendance, and the stadium holds like 79,000, and then they have standing room only tickets that you could buy too. Who else has been in the past? There's been so many artists that have came to rodeo.
It's interesting. I just read this has been going on since 1931. So I'm sure the like expansive.
This is the largest rodeo in the world. Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo is the largest in the world. So people are used to seeing their little local hometown arena type rodeos. This is much different, much bigger. It goes on for 20 days.
Somebody mentioned Destiny's Child. Have they played there? I know they're from Houston.
Yeah, several times.
Yeah.
Selena played here.
I was going to ask about that because in the Selena movie, there's a part where she's like in the middle of the
rodeo
stadium, and I was like, is that the Houston Rodeo? That is.
Yeah, I think that was it still the Astrodome at that time when Selena was here? I can't remember. But the Astrodome is actually still there. It's still in the parking lot of the stadium where this all takes place. Okay. They never tore it down. But yeah, I mean, there's been so many acts over the years.
That is. So typically, how long is a concert? Like, how long might we expect the New Kids show to last?
Typically about probably an hour and 15 minutes to an hour and a half. So on your ticket, if everybody looks at their ticket, it's going to say like entry 6:45 or 7 p.m. So the rodeo is always first. So like, let's start from the beginning. If you have a rodeo ticket or a concert ticket, that gets you into the grounds, which gets you into everything rodeo related. and the doors open at like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can go to the carnival. They have what they call NRG Arena. NRG Arena is where they show all of the animals, where all of the kids show their animals. That's where they have a petting zoo in there. That's where they have pigs being born, goats being born. They have a whole birthing center where you can watch animals actually being born. They have chickens that are hatching. They have rabbits, all kinds of animals in there. And then they have probably 8 to 10 rows of shopping that you can do. So all kinds of rodeo shopping, all of your bling, all of your jeans, all of your hats, boots, and then of course all kinds of other things too, like soups and dips and candy and all kinds of different things that you can shop for. So all of that goes on in the arena, and that goes on all day long. Mm-hmm. If you go get there at 10 o'clock in the morning, you can do all of your shopping. Wow. Then they have all kinds of cook-off type booths, all kinds of food set up. They have like wine tasting set up. So all of that you can do with your ticket. And then the rodeo, the actual rodeo competition is inside the stadium. So that starts at 7. And then all of that happens before the concert. So the concert starts at 9.
Okay.
They'll clear the rodeo probably about between 8:30, 8:45. And everything moves off the dirt. They bring the stage in. The stage is a 360-degree rotating stage.
Right.
So it doesn't matter where you sit in the stadium, you're going to see the stage. The top of the screen or the top of the stage is all covered in screens.
Oh, wow. Nice. Okay.
So it doesn't matter where you sit. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people have asked me about what's the best seats. You're not going to get bar stools.
Right.
It's a rodeo.
There's nothing on the ground. There's no floor, right? No floor seating?
There sort of is.
Okay.
So they have what they call action seats on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so those action seats are technically on the dirt, but they're protected by rails because the animals are doing their thing on rodeo, before the concert. So
mm-hmm.
yes, a bull rider could go by and you could get dirt in your face.
Mm-hmm. You're right up close to the action.
You're right up close to the action, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But the stage is in the middle of that dirt. So even though they're action seats, it's the action for rodeo, right? And not action for the concert.
Got
so
it.
you still, it's still a rodeo. So you're still going to have space in between your seats and the stage. And then they have what they call shoot seats. So shoot seats, that's like the highest level seat you can get. And so that comes with like a steak dinner and all of this that you go eat like in this club area. And then after rodeo is over, they open up this gate and they let everybody with the shoot seats run out into the field, holding their folding chair, like it's a literal folding chair like you would take to a sporting event. So you run out there, fold out your chair, and you sit on the dirt, and you get to keep the chair.
Oh,
but those are called shoot seats.
Because you're like running out of a chute, or
like the chute. What they refer to as the chute is it's CHUTE. That's where all of the bulls and the buck riding horses, all of that's kept there.
Okay.
And so that's where you sit. So that's why they call them shoot seats, because that's where you come from, is that area.
Yes. Okay, got it.
So they run out. There's only so many of those. There's not a lot. It's not like hundreds of people. I had to guess maybe 50, 75 people that have shoot seats, maybe.
Wow.
It's not a lot. It's not like they're going to come and cover the dirt.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll come running out with their folding chair, and you can only set up so close to the stage. So even with those, you can't get right up close to the stage. They have a barrier as far as you can go.
So how do people get shoot seats for the New Kids show, or is that like not a thing?
That's hard. That's really hard to get because those are owned by rodeo volunteers and season ticket holders. So most of them, rodeo is such a huge deal in Houston. Mm-hmm. So many people that own those give those tickets out to clients, to their vendors, to their customers and stuff like that. And usually what they don't give out, then they will sell.
Yeah,
so,
sure.
That's how people get them, is buying them from somebody else.
Got it.
It's interesting that even if you have like a front row seat at you're still yards away from the stage.
Yes.
And I think
absolutely.
It's interesting on, Facebook, even in some of the groups, hearing people and they're like, how close can I get? And I'm just picturing, not close.
Not close, yeah.
But you're in the building. You're in the building.
Yeah. It's still like, it sounds like overall the experience is what you're really there for. Like the concert is just a little part of it. So how long normally does the concert last?
It goes.
Ask that out.
Yeah. Yeah, they go on stage at 9.
Not good at multitasking.
They go on stage at 9, and it's usually over by 10:30.
Sorry. Thank you for reiterating that. Time.
Okay, but here's a different question. So, do you have any tips for any of concert goers to help make the experience like the best ever? What should we do? What should we not do?
If you've never been to a rodeo, I think you should go early, experience the whole thing, go into the NRG arena, see the shopping, see the animals, you know, get into the stadium earlier, see the whole rodeo. Don't just show up for the concert at 9 o'clock and then you're going to be pissed off going, it's only an hour and a half concert. It's not, you know, this is a whole ordeal. So experience the whole thing. If you're going to do any kind of carnival rides at all, I would suggest going onto the Houston Rodeo website and buying the carnival passes because you can do half price tickets for carnival. So you can buy like $150 worth of tickets for a $50 pass, and it's all digital. It's all in the app. So you'll get all your tickets, you know, on the app. So you save a ton of money there. You can buy half price food cards on there. Okay. But keep that in mind that if you're planning on doing carnival things and you want to buy that, you have to buy that before cook-off. Cook-off is the kickoff to rodeo. So cook-off is a 3-day event, Friday, Saturday, Sunday before rodeo. It's a 3-day event, like solid 3 days of cook-off. Each night, all of these people have special tents. You can go in. They have live bands and all of that, but you have to buy those half price things before cook-off. Once cook-off starts, that's the cook-off of rodeo. No more half price things available. You have to pay full price. Okay. So if you plan on doing that, buy it before cook-off.
Okay, and just to clarify, somebody's asked, so if you buy a ticket for the concert, you can attend the rodeo too?
Yes, that's everything. Okay. If you buy a ticket for the concert, you get to attend carnival. I mean, that doesn't come with your rides, but you can attend carnival. Walk around. You can walk around. It includes NRG Arena. There's also clubs that they have set up on site that you can go to after the concert's over. So at 10:30, people don't just mad dash leave. They'll go to the different clubs that are there. They'll go to the carnival rides.
I think Rafeef and Renee need to come and plan an official after party then, or an unofficial after party.
Yeah. I think it officially closes down at like 2 a.m. So
wow.
Also, so if you're traveling in, if you don't have a parking pass, which most people aren't going to have a parking pass if they're traveling in, take the rail. The monorail in Houston is very easy to use. It's one straight line. It doesn't go all over the place. It's not like a subway system where you get confused and it's going every direction. It's not like it literally goes back and forth. Yeah. So you can park anywhere along that Metro Rail line, and the Metro Rail drops you right off in front of NRG. If you don't want to take that and you're renting a car, there's like 8 or 10 different Metro sites around Houston that you can park there, and they'll bus you in also. Okay. So it's very easy to get there. And I would suggest using any one of those methods, not trying to drive in yourself if you do not have a parking pass, because you will be stuck in gridlock traffic. Yeah. If you don't know where you're going or how to navigate, they have different colored lots, a yellow lot, blue lot, green lot. And if you don't know what you're doing, or there's only one specific cash lot and it's very small, you're going to get there and then not know where to park or how to park or who to pay because it's parking pass only.
Sounds like a mess. So take the train.
Definitely use the Metro Rail or the Metro Park and Ride for sure. Right. And that's really cheap. Or Uber there. I mean, you can Uber there. But I think the parking rides are a couple of bucks, $2 or $3 a person.
Okay, so as a blockhead, what's one thing you could give anyone going advice on who's never been to this event before? Because we've been to Blockhead event, we've been to New Kids events, but this is very, very different. So what's one thing you could like give for advice kind of generally to everyone on?
Or level set our expectations, you know?
I would say you're going to see everything as far as dress. So don't think that you have to dress like a cowboy because you're coming to rodeo. I have never owned a pair of boots and I've lived here since I was 6. Having said that, if you want to dress up and go all out, then dress up and go all out. Like, bring all your bling. You're going to see everything there. So wear what you feel is comfortable. There is a lot of walking. So if you're going to buy boots, break them in, because it's a lot of walking. A lot. What else? Just take it all in. There's a lot of things to do and see around Houston in addition to rodeo.
Yeah,
if you're going to come here and stay a few days, I wouldn't suggest staying right there by the stadium, because outside of the stadium it's very industrial. I would suggest staying like in the Galleria area or downtown area. Either one of those areas you can get to the arena pretty easily. Downtown you can take the Metro Rail. But if you're going to do other things and sightseeing and eating and all of that, you're going to stay a couple days. Don't stay by the stadium, because you're not going to have anything else to do without Ubering.
What are some of the must-dos in Houston then? Aside from rodeo, what should we hit up? What should we do?
There's all kinds of things. The Kima Boardwalk is really nice. That's right on the water. It's got all kinds of rides and everything. Galveston. Don't expect Florida water. It's brown water, but it is a beach. If you've never been to the beach, Galveston's maybe like a 45-minute drive from Houston. It's not bad. You got to visit Buc-ee's. Everybody has to visit Buc-ee's, right? It's a gas station, but it's like the size of a Walmart.
Wow.
The first in Dallas, Megan, our friend Megan Kerr, took me out, and she was like, have you ever been to Buc-ee's? I said, no. And she took me, and I was like, this is worth seeing. So if you're not from the South, or from, is it Texas specifically? You got to go.
Started in Texas, yeah.
It's something you've never seen before.
Yeah,
it sounds like a spectacle.
It is.
Yeah.
When Misty and Grace came here in March or in May for the New Kids concert, we were going to go to San Antonio because they felt like we're in Texas, we got to see the Alamo. So it's like, okay, I'll drive you guys to San Antonio to see the Alamo. And I said, how hungry are you guys? Because I want to take you to Buc-ee's. And they're like, what is Buc-ee's? I'm like, it's a gas station. They're like, you're making us eat at a gas station. I'm like, just wait. So we pull in, and they're like, this is not a gas station. This is like Walmart. It's the size of a Walmart. And they've got all kinds of shopping in there. They have food that they're making fresh, home decor, shoes, a whole long thing of beef jerky, like 30 different flavors of beef jerky that they make right there on site. Like, it's just massive. So if you've never been to a Buc-ee's, you gotta try it one time, right, Ash?
So you were at
Houston
Carnegie.
Space Center is here.
Oh, the Houston Space Center.
If you're into that, that's here.
So just switching gears a little bit, you were at Carnegie, like you mentioned earlier. What was your highlight of the show?
George Michael, when he sang George Michael. George Michael was my first love before New Kids. So when he belted out Father Figure, I was like, yeah.
I was drawing a blank. I'm like, what George Michael? First I was like, George Michael wasn't there. I thought you said your highlight was George Michael. I'm like, he wasn't there. And then I was like, what did he sing? Right, Father Figure. Oh my God. Yeah.
I loved it. I loved his rendition of it. I loved it. And then of course, when all the guys came out and to support him, we all knew Donnie was going to be there, right? But to see everybody there to support him, it was really nice. I loved it. I had a great time at the after party. I had a great time at the brunch, and I got my tickets easily. I didn't know that it was a shit show until after. Like,
it was, I think it was a stampede.
I
missed
know,
it completely. I missed it by like a half an hour. So yeah.
I just happened to see it. I was like, oh, he posted it. Logged in, bought both, and then I went to lunch, and then I came back and I was like, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
Everyone else,
it was fun.
So what was your most legendary moment as a Blockhead last year?
Last year, oh my goodness. I
Were you on the cruise? Did you go to any of the concerts? Yeah.
I was on Kelly Clarkson, so I was on the front row of Kelly Clarkson when they announced the tour. So that was very exciting.
Yeah.
And then I flew back to LA to watch them perform at the American Music Awards. And that was great.
Those are some big highlights.
Wow. Those are some big highlights.
I remember seeing you in the crowd at Kelly Clarkson, and I didn't know you yet, but obviously my sister knew you, and she was like, that's my friend. And then back, I think right after that, then I saw you, because you were on camera, weren't you, at the American Music Awards?
No, not at the American Music Awards.
Okay.
I was in the nosebleed, so I wasn't on camera there. I don't think so. I don't think I was.
Can't remember that. I was really excited to see you then, but I remember, yeah, Elena was very excited to see you on Kelly Clarkson.
And did everybody in the audience?
Kelly Clarkson, because I was on that front row, so I looked like Jordan's backup dancer. Because every time they showed Jordan, I was like right behind him.
And did everybody in the audience at Kelly Clarkson get tickets to the tour?
Yes, they did. Yeah. And that's what I was going to say, that I chose mine in a city that I had never been to. So because I was already going to get tickets to Houston. So I was like, I want to visit DC. That's a really cool city to visit. I've never been there. It's the last show. Yeah. So I picked my free tickets from Kelly Clarkson for there.
Oh,
so I got to hang out with Ashley and her sister there. And I mean, that was a really good show. I saw them in Chicago, and then we did Houston and San Antonio.
I think we were all in DC.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a great show. And then the cruise. I mean, the cruise is always amazing. It's so fun to just, I know everybody says that it becomes about the friends and the guys are just extra, and you don't believe it until you've been on more than one cruise. And then it is that. It is all about hanging out with your friends, and the guys are extra. I loved it.
So
I'm excited for the next announcement.
I would say, having an amazing 2022 as a fan, what are you looking forward to most in 2023?
Seeing them at rodeo. I've lived here my whole life, and I've never, I mean, they've never played rodeo. You guys know Grace, right? Grace Webb. So she was going to come visit me already in March, and her husband was teasing her, saying, I can't believe this is like your first non-New Kids related vacation since 2019. Like, I can't believe it, because he's coming too. They've always wanted to visit Texas. And so they had already made these plans back in November. And then they announced the rodeo. I was like, Grace, you're not going to believe who's here the week you're here. So it's crazy.
Grace from Canada?
Yes.
Oh, okay. That we.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She was my cruise roommate.
Oh, okay. I see.
And literally,
wow,
one of the funniest people on the planet.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, thank you for being here. We really appreciate it. Is there anything else as far as advice for the rodeo that you were hoping to tell everyone tonight?
I don't think so. I put out a map on in one of the chat groups, a map of Houston, a map of kind of where to stay, a map of where the rail goes. I listed a whole list of suggestions of things to do, of places to eat, of where to stay, what to visit. So I think I got it all covered. And you know, everybody's welcome to message me if they have any questions. But
well, there you go. Terrie is your go-to gal in Houston. She is a font of knowledge, I guess, and she's happy to share. So message her, and she can help you out. Thank you so much for sharing all of the tips and wisdom with us this evening. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Terrie.
Take care. Bye, Terrie. Here we go.
It's incredible the amount of things that she's shared on Facebook. So if people are wondering, like, what are the groups? If you go on Facebook and you look for, you know, New Black Fan Group or whatever, there's many that are popular, and there's a lot of people sharing information. So find the one that fits you best. Join, meet some friends. That's how I met a lot of my New Kids friends. But yeah, Terrie's great about just trying to give back to the community, and it's her opportunity because she's a big Houston. She loves Houston.
This is her moment to shine, right?
Moment.
All right, should we get our next guest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see.
It's interesting. Had a lot of international people, which is cool, given that, you know, time zones and everything aren't always easy.
Let's see. Hi.
Hi.
First off, happy Australia Day.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us on a holiday, everyone.
Of course.
This is her holiday.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to have you. Can you just, I've already blown your cover on like where you're joining us from, but can you introduce yourself and just recap where you're from?
Sure. Hi everyone, I'm Jenny Wu. I'm JK's mental shot on social media platforms, and I'm from Sydney, Australia. And yes, it's Australia Day today, so like 4th of July.
Yes. Or like we have Canada Day.
Oh right, and Canada Canada.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just like only talk about the US.
We're kind of used to that here. It's nice to have a guest who, you know,
different.
is in the Commonwealth.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, Commonwealth.
Okay, so Jenny, you went to see Joe at Mohegan and Carnegie, and I think that this was kind of like a last minute-ish type of trip. Can you?
Yeah, like I say it was last minute, but really I've been thinking about and agonizing about it since LA. Like, because I went to see him in drag, and then that's when he released, you know, Carnegie, and I was like, oh, I've done too much.
Here we go again.
Yeah, I can't justify this. But in the end, you know, without going into details, you know, we all have difficult things in our lives to bear, and I think I just needed a little bit of extra joy. And you know, when you know what gives you joy, you grab it with both hands, right? I go on about that on my page all the time. It's about chasing joy. So I just thought, you know what, like, you'll regret not going to Carnegie. And I've had one new kid regret, which was NKOTBSB when they came to Australia, didn't go. And I've kicked myself over it forever. So I thought, just go. I'll just do it. Yeah. So I did. So yes, it was last minute, as in like I thought about it for a long time, and then it really only came together probably 2 weeks before I left.
Wow. But you made it happen, and like I think I was documenting your journey as you were making the trek from Sydney to So can you just kind of recap what your journey looked like and how long it took?
Okay, so someone was like, "Tell Joe," and I'm like, "I'm not telling Joe." So I mean, this is another reason why I was like, "Do I really want to do this?" So because of COVID, all the flights to the US are ridiculously expensive. So, you know, it's pretty much double what it used to be. So, like, actually, Australian and Canadian dollars are kind of on par. So,
I think so.
Yeah. So it used to be, you know, like maybe $1,500 to fly to LA from Sydney, and it's now $4,000. So I'm like, I can't do $4,000. Yeah. So I managed to find like a weird route. So I flew from Sydney to Honolulu. And so I'm terrible at remembering like times, but I think that probably was like, you know, like a 10-hour flight. And then I had like a 13-hour layover there in Honolulu, and I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? But I ended up leaving and getting like a hotel for the day, because you can get like, you know, just for the day. And then so I went to the beach, had like a shower, went and had some food, kind of walked around and reminisced, because I went to Hawaii as well for when he was there. And then went back on the plane, flew to LA, which is like another like 11-hour flight. Oh my God. But like, you know, when you're from Australia and
you're used to it.
I'm like, this is fine, you know, because like going to like Europe is like 27 hours.
Right, going anywhere is a bit of a trek.
I mean, going to the other side of Australia, I mean, Canada's a country too, but going to the other side of Australia is like 9 hours. Yeah. So, hi, Linz. And so then I flew to LA, and then of course I wanted to like get to Mohegan as soon as possible. And maybe I should have like researched it better and gone to Boston. I could possibly have caught Jordan when he did his interview, but I just had it in my head to go to New York. So I flew to New York, but the flight, like, you know, like for the connection, I had another like 8-hour layover. Oh my God. So thank goodness, like when I was traveling a lot, I got Qantas Club membership. So I was just like living in the airport lounges. And then, so then I thought, okay, well, I'll just drive to Mohegan, because what's the point? Like, I'll just drive. I'll just. It's only 2 hours, and it would be like
Mohegan? Is it in Connecticut?
It's in Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually closer to Boston. I should have asked a Bostonite, but so it's
I would
like
have never known. I thought it was close to New York. Yeah.
Well, it is. It's in between. So like, and I went to Mohegan last tour.
Shocking how close everything is in that region, like Boston. Philadelphia, all like a couple hours away.
Exactly.
Unlike, other places where it's 7 or 8 hours to get somewhere.
Right. And it is really pretty. And I did go, like Mohegan I did 2 of the shows in Mohegan
Okay.
on mixtape tour. So I did, but I also drove from New York. So I was like, okay, had it in my head, New York. But it's about 2.5 hours drive from New York, but 1.5 from Boston. So I could have flown to Boston, but I flew into New York. And of course, like the flight that I could get for connection only landed at like 11:30, like almost midnight. And all the car rentals shut at, 11:30.
Right.
So I was like, okay, great.
Oh,
So
wow.
I stayed at like some motel just close by just for the night, had a shower, had a rest, and then drove to Mohegan the next morning. So it was really fun. And I'm a bit of a crazy traveler. I think I sort of push people's boundaries if they've not traveled very much and they come with me. and the night after Joe's show, I was like, I'm really close to Boston. It's like an 1.5-hour drive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm going. So the next day I drove to Boston and just walked around, went to Navarra, and then drove back to New York because I had a car for that day.
Wow.
So yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And I love
yeah,
Boston.
that's okay. Tell me something. When you have a flight, how long before your flight do you arrive at the airport?
So international, I try and do like at least 3.
Okay.
So it might be a little.
Okay, so we're on the same page.
Yeah. But like domestic, it's like 2 hours,
Yeah.
right? They still say go at 2. Yeah. So international, I go at 3, and I am a bit spoilt because I can go to the lounge and chill and have some food and go on like socials and stuff like that. So in fact, I was really glad that Joe did his announcement for the after party. I was in LA. Okay. And I was just sitting in the lounge, and I managed to get the after party tickets, but the reception was so bad that I missed out on the brunch, but that's okay. I was just glad to have something. Yeah. So I think in total, like because of the time difference, like it was only the next day, so I left like I don't know. On Saturday, on Monday or whatever, and then arrived on Tuesday. But actually, if you count together all the it was 3.5 days of travel.
And that was worth it.
Because like when you go from Sydney to Hawaii, you arrive like 8 hours earlier than you land. When you left. Does that make sense? Because of the time difference. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know where I am right now, or what time, what day. Where's Joe?
All I know is Joe is at the end of this journey, so just get me there.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
But I can't.
Wow.
On the way home, it was fine. But it saved me like $2,000. So worth it.
There's a bar stool right there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's it.
Everything you need at the airport anyway. So it's like, okay. In fact, I'm wearing sweatpants that I bought in the Dallas airport when we got snowed in there. So.
Oh, really?
So there you go.
You can do it.
So you also go ahead.
It was nice to go to the beach in Hawaii and just sort of lay in the sun and stuff like that for like a couple hours. So that was good.
Yeah. So you had some little breaks in between there. That probably helps. So you went to all
in the end, I was like, let's just go.
Yeah. I'm like over this. I'm ready to just travel to be done. Okay, so you went to all 3 of Joe's most recent shows.
Well, not his solo. I went to drag. I didn't manage to go to them. Yeah. Because that was like another trip.
2 Mohegan shows. You went to the 2 most recent. Think of the 2 most recent shows.
Yeah.
What was the difference between the 2 shows, if there were any differences?
Well, yeah, it was a little bit different because obviously at Mohegan, and he was like, this is just practice for Carnegie, and it's much more intimate because it's just like a cabaret salon. So we were all really close. Like, doesn't matter where you were sitting, you were quite close. Mm-hmm. And for my page, I love filming them and having content later. So it was really great. Like all the stuff I got from Mohegan was so beautiful because the lighting and everything was beautiful. But also, of course, he didn't have his guests, as many of his guests with him. And some of it was very much like literally him like saying, okay, make note, I'm going to put the music stand here next to the piano or whatever.
Kind of choreographing all the details.
But it was really, you know, it's Blockhead, so we're all giving him that opportunity to just work things out, which is really nice. And have you guys seen the video of him like finding a single confetti?
Yeah,
that's cute, very cute.
I don't think I've seen
That
it,
was
but
like
heard about that.
Yeah. So it was all the little moments like that that I really adored. Of course, he sounded beautiful, but like at one point he was singing and like one single confetti came floating down and he picked it up and he was like, I think Johnny Wahlberg's in the rafters just sending me some love. And it was very sweet. So, and I guess different songs hit differently, I guess.
Oh.
You know, like for me, I'm a crier. I cry at everything.
Yeah.
At Carnegie, I was ugly crying. So I was like, I wasn't even Jordan, no tears, ugly. I was like, everything I was sobbing. Actually, my friend HK had to give me a hug. But when he did Smile, because partly because of what's happening in my life at the moment, various complexities and stuff, but also it's what he said before, which he didn't say in Carnegie, in Mohegan. So he had a lead up to it. And, you know, like I'll post, you know, I'm going to post it on my page soon. But, and then in Mohegan, there was a couple of songs that made me cry, but they were like different songs.
Yeah.
And it was like, you know, in Mohegan, it felt like it's like, I'm just showing my friends what I'm about to do. Like, that's what it felt like. And then in Mohegan, and then at Carnegie had.
Oh no! Oh, she froze. Left this hanging. Hold on. I think we're getting some. Jenny, you froze. Jenny, you froze. Can you rewind a little bit? Uh-oh.
Am I back?
Jenny, you are. You're a little fuzzy. Can you go back? And when you had mentioned that, you know, the different songs hit differently.
Yeah. So, yeah, the different songs hit differently. So Smile really hit really hard. So you got that bit. And then because he didn't have all his special guests, you know, he kind of just sung some things to, you know, because it was supposed to be a surprise. And then, you know, and then it was very much, Mohegan felt very much like, I'm just going to show my friends what I'm going to be doing. And it felt a bit more relaxed, you know, and then Carnegie was, I mean, he was brilliant both times, but I posted this morning or yesterday, Father Figure, which for me hit more at Mohegan than it did at Carnegie, but probably because just how close I was to him. And if you guys like filming and stuff like that in shows, don't kill me, Joe, if you see this, but I think Joe notices who's filming and he kind of knows who has pages. And if you look at my video, I feel like he's like, okay, I see her filming me, and he's singing straight to you, or into the camera. I know it's not at me, but and because it's so close, it you know, things hit different. Whereas at Carnegie, I was in first tier, so you know, they're really far away. So yeah, it's just that that intimate, you know, Mohegan was a very intimate, like friendly feel, and then Carnegie was, you know, very formal, and everybody was beautifully dressed, and there was this like are the new kids going to be there? Which we knew they were going to be there, you know, and then all the special guests, you know, I didn't, you know, for sure. So yeah, it was amazing. All of it was like so worth it.
So you're still cutting out a little bit, but can you share with us what your part of each show was? Obviously, Smile seems to be one that like resonates throughout both shows, but was there, that Smile, you said Father Figure. Was there anything in each show that kind of stood out for you know, different, but your favorite part?
Yeah. So I guess for Mohegan, the other song that really made me cry is You Matter to Me, you know, the song from like that he sang with, is it Shoshana that he sang with? It was so beautiful. Like, that was really special. And that was very special in Carnegie as well. But I guess I didn't know he was going to sing that with her. And then when he sang it at Mohegan, it really sort of hit home. And then, obviously at Carnegie, we were all freaking out when Donnie came out and then when the guys came out. So that was, it was really special to be like, oh, it's our guys, they're
and you're a Jordan girl, right? So seeing Jordan, I'm sure, was a nice little perk. Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much thought that they would all be there. Like, how could they not be? It's Joe and it's Carnegie, and even the opportunity for them to sing at Carnegie, like, can we have this happen again? Was pretty special. So seeing them in such an iconic place, I think really, like, it was really touching. Of course, Joe's whole set, like, I felt like what he chose, and I think he added songs. I'm pretty sure he added songs from Mohegan. I think his song choices are always really spot on. And I love Crooner Joe. That's like my favorite. Like when he does solo stuff and he does, all the older songs. So I think that's why Smile was so, I love that so much. And I loved him singing LOVE. It's so much meaning behind that song.
There's somebody's commenting that you're swerving.
I'm swerving.
You're swerving. The Joe girls are like, steer clear of my man.
It's like, everyone's like, oh, are you a Donnie girl now? No, I'm still a Jordan girl. Are you a Joe girl now? No. I mean, I'm a blockhead, so yes. I'm not predominantly Jordan. He sits above the rest of the guys for many reasons that, we don't have time to get into today. This is not an 8-hour.
Yeah.
But but they're all special to me. So, and Joe's voice is undeniably amazing. So, and Donnie, we don't have time to talk about all the things that we love about Donnie, right?
No.
So I'm not swerving. I just have a love.
She's appreciating
all of them.
Exactly.
Yeah, for all of them. I love them all in different ways.
So was this your first time in New York City? No, wait, you went this summer. Oh.
I'm like Jordan. I've got.
Jenny, so you went to New York City this summer, right? So this wasn't your first trip.
To New York? Do you mean? Yeah. Oh,
we can hear you. You're kind of spotty though.
Sorry. Say that again. Oh, I know.
You're a little spotty on our end. Ashley, you're still there, right? You can still hear me, okay?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
You know what?
All right.
I'm gonna clock out, and then I'm gonna swap over, and then if you invite me again, maybe that'll. Okay.
Okay. Will you be joining from the same account?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see you shortly.
Can you invite me again in 30 seconds? Okay. Bye.
Okay. All right. Bye.
We can't do one of these without someone's Wi-Fi going off the rails. So
yeah. Usually it's one of us though, but listen, you know what? She's so far in the future that we can't hold it against her, right?
It's like a glitch in the Matrix.
Right? I don't know.
She's ahead. She's in the future. We are in the past.
Yeah.
I can't,
pretty much.
I can't imagine if it's Australia Day. And if it was 4th of July, the fact that she's joining us tonight is very special.
Yeah. I know. The Blockheads have been really good to us, especially, considering the folks that are in time zones that are just crazy compared to ours.
It's very cool. Will join us from other countries and all around the world. I'm just going to look at the comments while we're waiting for her. So, Lindsay
sent the request, so there we go. Hi, she's back. Yay.
I'm back. Hopefully this is better. I just swapped onto
You swapped.
you know, sometimes I think my phone Wi-Fi is better, but then obviously not today. So
Got it.
last time I was alive, I think I was like blurred for about half of it.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so you had this wasn't your first time to New York City, right? You went this past summer?
No.
So what so even though it wasn't your first time, what else did you get up to while you were in New York? Aside from Carnegie and the after party.
Right, the after party. So I've been to New York a lot of times. So I used to travel to these states quite a lot for work.
Oh, okay.
And then New York is actually one of my favorite cities. So it's Boston's kind of inching above it now, but for different reasons, not just new kids. I do really love Boston. But so I actually have friends that live there. So I did a bit of catch up with them.
Okay.
So there was, I've got, I'm a physio and I've worked with orthopedic surgeons for a long time. And one of the orthopedic surgeons I worked with for like 10 years now lives in New York. So I caught up with them. And then I've got a friend who I met through dance back in 2002. And he lives in Jersey. So I went and had dinner with him. And, you know, you got to shop when you're in New York. So I went shopping. And, you know, I wanted to see Funny Girl. I wanted to catch a show. But I thought, you know what? I'm just going to leave it about Joe. So I didn't go catch a show. And then Trina, one of the Blockheads, was very kind to be like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, I don't know. I don't have any plans. And she said, oh, well, you need to come to the brunch. So I went to a brunch that Eva Knight had organized. And it ended up being, you know, all these people that I had met last year that, you know, I really adore. And I ended up like sitting opposite Jaquetta, who like, I feel like the universe was trying to bring us together and we got to spend some time together. And then we ended up hanging out, like Jaquetta, her husband, me, and you probably saw on my page, and Elle, and we kind of just had an awesome day, like going to Times Square.
A lot of connections and reconnecting, eh? Sounds like.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's nice.
Because I think part of going to the events are being able to see people that, you know, you kind of have a piece of your heart because you spent time with them. And you know, I live so far away. I can't just, you know, jump on a plane 2-hour trip and I'm there. So
you have to maximize that trip.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, it was a bit about like meeting up with Blockheads, a bit about like I love just walking in New York, even though it was so cold for me. I'm Australian. I'm not used to this. I couldn't feel my face. But you know, I love the architecture. So, you know, just walking through the streets of New York and there's my favorite building, the Chrysler, and you know, I think I did a little story, but I had to go into Grand Central and, you know, and just do a little snippet and you know, and I'm a foodie, so I managed to get to, do you guys know David Chang? He's like one of my food heroes, but so I've always wanted to go to his noodle bar, Momofuku noodle bar in Columbus.
Okay, yes.
So I went there, and then, you know, Momofuku has like a milk bar. Who I'm a baker as well.
Cookie?
So
there's that.
So I had to go to milk.
Yeah. Okay.
So good.
We have a Momofuku here that I think it's closing down, unfortunately.
That's what happened to us. We had a Momofuku. It was seibo, so it was like Caribbean food. It was amazing, but they closed down probably about a year ago. So I was like, we don't have a Momofuku anymore.
Well,
but yeah,
on my Instagram page every day.
Say that again.
You can buy the Momofuku noodles direct now, and on Instagram I must have watched like their ads too long because I get ads every day for his chili his noodles. So if you're go ahead and order them from there, you can still get them.
I should. Well, like, you know, during lockdown, apart from, you know, watching everything on YouTube that's New Kids related, David Chang would actually go live like every day and he'd like make something. So I'd be like watching him and that sort of thing. So yeah, that was like, you know, New York for me is because I've been so many times, is now about like seeing the city, being part of it, like, because I've done all the touristy stuff. I did want to walk across the Brooklyn Bridge again, but it was so cold. I was like, I can't.
I was going to say, on the Friday was warm. But then again, I'm Canadian, right? So I was like, this is so nice. this is so warm. But then it got real at night, and the next day, then it got really cold.
Right. I think someone laughed at me because in my stories I'm like, oh, it's snowing, and they're like, girl, this is not snow. And I'm like, I know, I'm Australian.
Yeah, in our hotel, like I was leaving the Saturday morning, and I was going down the elevator, and there was some I guess some people from the south, and they were like, I could hear their accents in the elevator. We walked out, and it was like there was like one snowflake coming, and they were like, oh my god, it's snowing. Which is so sweet, but I was like, oh boy.
Well, it very rarely snows in Sydney, and you have to go up to the Blue Mountains for it to see snow, and it usually melts when the sun comes out because the sun.
You know what? I've been to Australia before, and I went in your summer, and
did you melt?
No, sorry, I went in your winter.
Okay.
So I was there in like, I think May, June time, and it got a lot colder than I would have expected.
Do you know what?
I wasn't prepared.
The number of Canadian people that told me that, I was like, are you kidding? You're from Toronto. Okay, so you're from Ottawa.
Not that what are you talking about? It's not that it's cold, and that I can't handle it. It's just it's colder than I expected. I guess I hear like Canadian, I hear Canadian or Australian winter, and I think, yeah, right. But it took me by surprise. So I had to, buy an extra sweater.
Right. And everyone's always told me it's not the cold so much, it's that the houses are not heated the way.
Houses don't have heating.
Yeah. I mean, we're like, heating, schmeating, we need air conditioning. Yeah. So, no, I was very excited because like on my drive up to Boston as well, it was snowing. So parts of Connecticut was white. Okay. And I was like, oh, it's so beautiful. And people are probably like, oh, no, driving in the snow. But I'm like, like a giddy schoolgirl going, oh my God, it's snowing. And then it was really nice to see Boston Common just a little bit white. But it melted like, an hour after. So I wasn't able to get any photos, but that was really nice.
You just have to make another trip now.
I know. I really, like I was in Boston before the cruise. So I'd always wanted to go in autumn or fall when the leaves changed, and it was so gorgeous. It was beautiful. And again, we don't get too much of that here in Australia. It's all very green.
Yeah. Okay, so now you've done you've seen Joe a couple times, you've gone to the after party, you've had your brunch, you've seen your friends, you've connected with other blockheads. On your way home, you had a pretty legendary moment. Can you please recap that for us?
Let's be real. This is why I'm on this show today. It's fine. I think my followers will know, and maybe some extra people will know, that for some reason, the gods smiled on me, and I was on the same flight as Joe going to LA. So, which, the funny thing was, I was sitting in the lounge, as I always am, thinking about the trip and how amazing it was and blah, blah, blah. And I had a notification that popped up, and it was Joe, saying one last goodbye to Carnegie. And I just had this feeling like, what if I see him at the airport? and then I just kind of brushed it aside. And then, anyway, I walked to the gate. I usually stay there until about like maybe 10 minutes before boarding. So I walked to the gate, and I kind of sat down. I normally have my earplugs, my iPods in. And then, anyway, I took them out, and I heard his voice, and I kind of looked up and was like, what? And it was Joe. And Joe was at my gate, and he was on the phone. Like, I think maybe that's a strategy for him to like have people leave him alone like me. But he was on the phone, and I was quite surprised at my own reaction. So maybe it is me swerving a bit, but I kind of like jumped up and then went, oh my God, calm down. And I kind of walked towards him, but I didn't want to interrupt. And I think, part of me is always, if I run into the new kids, how would I react? Because they're off, you know. If it was Jordan, I think I'd freak out, and it would take me a while to approach him anyway. But if it was Donnie, I think I'd be more comfortable. And I just didn't know with Joe. I never thought about what would happen if I saw him.
Right.
But it was incredibly sweet. So I sort of slowly walked up to him, and he kind of turned away from me just because he was like, he paces a little bit when he's talking. And so I sort of reached out and just touched his arm and touched his arm. And immediately he stopped the conversation, turned around, and I was like, hi. And he just immediately went to hug me. Now, I don't know if he knows who I like. Okay, he said he does. But at that moment, I was convinced. I'd been convinced that, you know, out of all the guys, the only person that doesn't know me yet is Joe. I was complaining. I'm like, Joe doesn't know me, Donnie. And Donnie's like, yes, he does. But he went immediately and hugged me. And then I introduced myself, and he was like, oh, wow, you were at Mohegan as well. I was like, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then, yeah. I was like, yeah, of course. And then, and he was like, oh, that's amazing. And then he kind of just wanted to like get on the flight. So I let him go, and I said, oh, he was like, what number are they up to? You know, that like when they're calling boarding. And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm sure you can just go, Joe. And he's like, okay, bye. So he goes on, and I'm walking, you know, I'm like one of the last groups to get onto the plane, and I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll just like wave to him in first class and stuff. And I'm walking through, and there's no Joe. And in my head, I'm like, oh, there's a secret place. There's a secret place for celebrities on planes.
Like upstairs, there's like a whole lounge.
There is like, he's with the pilot or something. Like he's not in first class. He's got to be in some special thing. But he was like 4 rows behind me in coach. And so I was like row 13 or 14 or something like that. And he was on the other side, but like 4 or 5 rows behind me. And I didn't know. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know where he is, but he's obviously on this flight. I just don't know where. And then when we took off, I got up and went to go to the bathroom. And I turn around, and there's Joe like standing up. And I'm like, and so he smiled at me, and I think he knew exactly where I was sitting. He must have seen me come in, probably like, okay, there's the stalker. I need to know where she is. But I was very polite, like I was very apologetic, and he was very sweet. He let me chat to him for a little while. I mean, I had 5 hours. I wasn't gonna be like just at him the whole time, but you know, we chatted a little bit, and I said to him, is this like your worst nightmare, like being stuck on a plane with a blockhead? And he was so beautiful. He said, no, this is perfect. Like the celebration just continues.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was really sweet. And you know, another thing that he said that was really sweet was I was like, oh my God, I look a hot mess. And of course you are on my flight. And he's like, you know, I don't care about that. And I was like, oh, Joe.
And I saw your picture. You did not look a hot mess.
Oh,
okay.
But
you did not.
You know, I had my glasses on.
Okay, you had glasses on.
Okay.
Thank you. I felt like I was like, oh my God, I look like this. And normally he sees me in meet and greet, so I'm like makeup and a dress and, you know, hair done up, and I'm like in jeans and a shirt, and I'm like, oh. And it was funny because I said, oh, do you actually remember me? And he goes, yeah, I do. I just didn't quite put together who you were until just now. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, yeah, and then I think that's when I was like, yeah, because I look a hot mess. And he was very sweet. He was like, oh, no, like, you know, I don't care about that. And yeah, we just, you know, he was very nice to like just let me bug him for a little bit. And, you know, like I passed him a few times because he was 5-hour flight. So, you know, bathroom and stuff like that, and you know, I tried to leave him alone mainly. And at the end of the flight, I thought I didn't get a selfie, and I hate asking the guys for selfies, and I think the guys know that. So Donnie will grab my phone and take a selfie with me because he knows I don't like do a selfie. And I will never get one with Jordan because he's never grabbing my phone, and I'm never shoving it in his face. But and I thought, no one's going to believe me. I need to get a selfie, but also as a memento for myself.
For sure.
You know, because it was so special. And so I waited for him because I got off the plane first. And poor Joe, I could tell he was annoyed because his face was like, and I thought, oh, I'm sorry. And I said, oh, Joe, is it okay if I walk with you? And he kind of just gave me a bit of a forced smile, which is fair. You know, the man has had such a big week and he was just coming home. And so I just walked with him for a little bit and I just said, look, I hate to ask, but, you know, would it be okay if we took a selfie? And I think that's when he realized, oh, she just wants a selfie. and you know, and in between he asked about like the flight and what am I doing now? And he kind of groaned for me because he knows how far Australia is as well. And then when I asked him for the selfie, he was just like, yes, let's do this. And then he's like, okay, where do we do this? And I was like, I don't know. I don't want to draw too much attention to you. And he's like, no, it's all good. It's all good. So I give him my phone. And so my profile picture is my lock screen. And he took one look at it because it's me, him, and Jordan from my ultimate in Atlantic City. And it's a very cute photo. Like, I'm in love with that photo. So I don't know if I'll ever change it. And he took one look at it and goes, "Aw, cute," you know, slides it and takes a selfie and off he goes. Oh. But yeah, he was very sweet. And he was like, "Oh, you know, have a good trip home. I'll see you at the next thing." And I said, "I can't come to the rodeo, but I'll miss you until then," you know, and then bye. And then I think he was like, thank God.
Well, and that's such an amazing finish to your trip. I actually ran into Jordan at the airport once.
See, like, I think I would die if I did.
Yeah.
I was shaking so much with Joe, and I'm like, what is wrong with you? It's not even Jordan, but
it's still a new kid. But I saw Jordan, my friend and I, so we went in the 2019 tour. We went to both the Chicago shows, and then we were at O'Hare like the Sunday morning, and like we were just, I don't know, it was O'Hare, it was really busy, and then we finally got through and we had a lot of time to kill, and then we were getting like a juice or something, and then my friend was like, "Oh, there's Jordan." And I was like, "Bullshit, come on," and stop, right? Yeah. And she goes, "No, like seriously." So I look over and like he's just like sitting there at his gate he had somebody with him, like security, but it was like Father's Day long weekend, and you know they had some time off in the schedule, so they were going back to Boston. So I was like, "It's Jordan. It's kind of like it's now or never," and I just said, "Fuck it, I'm gonna say hi." So I just like, you know, strolled up and I said, "Hi, Jordan." Talked very, very briefly. I didn't ask for a picture. I couldn't, but I just said, "Oh, thanks for the show," and blah, blah, "We'll see you in Toronto." And he was like, "Oh, you're going to the Toronto show?" And we said, "We're from Toronto." And the Raptors, our basketball team, had just won the championship. So he was like, "Oh, are you going to go to the parade?" Small talk, just very, very briefly. And then,
that's nice.
And then we left, and that was it. I don't have any proof of it, but that was my little airport thing. But yeah, I was really nervous. But because it was Jordan, I was like, I have to.
You have to. Right? Are you a Jordan girl?
No.
I don't even know.
No, I'm a Donnie girl. But like with Jordan, like the sightings are so few and far between.
I know.
Even more so now. But like, I mean, at the time he was still on social. But back then I was just like, I just have to.
Yeah. You know what? Like I was thinking, oh, you know, if it was Jordan, I think I would freak out. But I would hope that he's with John, and then I'd be fine.
Yeah.
Just go talk to John. Yeah.
Terrie, who was on before you, she actually met John in the airport.
Yes.
I think after the cruise, if I'm correct, and got a selfie with him too. So
yeah,
it's okay. So
I think I missed.
Our story is look in the airport for the new kids because they're there. There's somewhere.
They're there. I know. And you know, and the funny thing is I was always complaining, like constantly complaining. Oh, I don't have new kids luck. I never run into a new kid. I always have to pay to meet a new kid. Whatever. It's my life. And then I think the universe was like, shush, here you go.
What's that saying that you introduced to us a couple weeks ago, Ashley? Things always work out for me.
Yeah. Things always work out. That's what you have to start saying to yourself. Things always work out for me, especially when they do.
True.
So like in the city now, of course, you met Joe in the airport. Things always work out for you, Jenny.
True. And you know, I had an amazing year last year, and it was way and above beyond anything I could have ever have imagined. You know, so things do work out. You're right. Things do work out. And I think I just, you know, you see other people running into, you know, and I'm like, everyone's telling me Jordan's here. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm not going to run into him. You know, like and I'm not going to run into Donnie on the streets of New York. It's just not going to happen. And I guess, you know, but it was nice because it was totally unexpected because I would never have thought I mean, I was going to LA, so it was a possibility, but I would have never thought, oh yeah, that'll happen to me. So it was really nice.
There are a lot of flights going from New York to LA. A lot of flights, I'm sure. And you just happen to be on the same one as him.
Right. And like, for example, yeah, it did. And for example, like, I don't know if you guys know, actually, maybe you don't know, but at Mohegan, there was actually meet and greet.
Yeah.
After, but I didn't know because I didn't get sent an email. Actually, me and my friend, both of us didn't get sent an email. So we didn't even know that that was a possibility until we entered the cabaret theater and people were getting wristbands. I'm like, what are the wristbands? And another friend of mine was like, oh, it's meet and greet for Joe. I'm like, what? And so we were like really pissed, basically, that we didn't even have the opportunity to try and get. And so this is the type of thing we're talking about.
Yes.
You know, like, I'm like, oh, I never get anything, blah, blah, blah. And then the universe was like, okay, stop it. You do. Here you go. So maybe one day I'll run into Jordan. And, you know, like people are always like, oh, you're going to Navarre, you're going to see Jordan? I'm like, I'm not going to see Jordan. This is me. He's not coming in when I'm in there. Like, you know, that's the end of it type thing. But, yeah, you're right. You never know. Things will always work out. But, yeah.
So have you ever met one of the new kids before this other than meet and greets? Like,
no.
Just out?
Never.
Wow.
They're not in Australia.
Yep.
So, well, saying that, Joe and Griff obviously have been to Australia on holidays before. So, but no, I've never met, never bumped into a new kid, even like outside of the arena or like in the bathroom or, you know, the places people run into Donnie. Like that's never happened to me. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was like, I think that's why I was like losing my mind.
So prior to 2022, had you ever seen the new kids live?
Once in 1992.
Oh, wow. What?
Yeah, I was 13 and, you know, it was at the Sydney Entertainment Centre, which no longer exists. That's how long ago it was. And, you know, it was at the height of them, you know, their fame. And it was amazing. It was the very first concert I'd ever been to. And I was a Jordan girl then and Jordan girl now. And I think Jordan was about this big. Yeah. Because I was like nosebleed seats. And, you know, I went with 4 other girls and we're still friends for life. And it was like one girl for each guy. And we're all we now
with
all
one to spare?
No. Well, like 5 of us. There was 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think we only found out later that because Joe was taken, our John girl became a John girl because Joe was taken.
Bless her.
And I was like, listen, Joe will not mind if there's 2 of you, and John will not care that.
No.
Because I have enough love for both of the brothers. It's fine.
What was the finally take the plunge and like do 2022 get into all of the different?
All out. Yeah.
Gosh, there was a lot of reasons, but you know, I really regret it. I don't even remember why I didn't go to NKOTBSB when they came. I really don't. Like, I even remember going, oh, I'll do Sydney and then I'll do Auckland. I'll go to New Zealand to do the New Zealand shows. And for some reason, life, I guess, I didn't go. And then, you know, they really, like, being on the social side of things is new to me. I kind of stayed away from that for a really long time. You know, you hear stories and you're just like, I don't want anything to do with that crazy stuff. So I stayed away from that. But through COVID, it was really hard. Yeah. And, you know, I always turned to them through the hard times. And I did. And then I was supposed to go to Fenway, actually. So Fenway was going to be my first time back. And then we were locked, you know,
COVID
locked
restrictions,
in, so you couldn't go. So I was devastated that I couldn't go to Fenway. Yeah. And it was all of that, like the fact that they pulled me through so much, you know, not just Jordan, but all the guys that pulled me through so much through life. They don't know, but, you know, I wouldn't be here without them. No joke. And I just thought, what am I waiting for? I think I had that Asian guilt of, no, you can't travel to the US for a boy band. And I just thought, forget it. You know, I work hard. It's my money. I'm going to do what I'm going to do with it. It gives me joy. And, you know, I'm not young anymore. They're not young anymore. I don't know how long they're going to do this for. So I thought, I'm just going to go. And I'm sure a lot of, like, I think post-COVID, there was a lot of that, wasn't there?
For
like,
sure.
I think so many people came out of the woodworks that, you know, maybe weren't around the you know, the community before, and now we're sort of all here. But there's no turning back, is there?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No.
Once you've plunged in, it's hard not.
And I plunged. I'm like, I just dove into it.
So, what are you looking forward to as a Blockhead in 2023?
Oh, I mean, we don't know, do we? It's all a mystery at this time. I mean, Donnie's alluded to a few things, but, you know.
Did you go on the cruise again? Are you able to do that? I think,
for sure. Okay. Cruise was so amazing. So cruise, like, I think someone said, oh, it's a given. So yeah, so the cruise is kind of like a given. But I think it's kind of exciting because there is a lot of unknown, you know, like I can't follow Joe around and do 50 shows. If it was Jordan, maybe, but we know he's not going to do that. We know he's not going to do that. But you know, new music would be amazing. I mean, you're right, because they've got like 6 songs done, so they could definitely do something. And, you know, I know Danny's got music that he could put out. Come on, Danny, where are you?
We're waiting.
We're waiting. We're waiting. It's time. And also, like, didn't Donnie sort of allude to having like maybe like a deep cuts session or a deep cuts, not a tour, but like a couple of things. And then what else? He's also alluded to like something with New Edition, right? I love New Edition.
Ooh.
Remember? Like last year, he was like,
N-E-K-O-T-E. So many allusions.
Yeah,
they made so many hints at so many things. It's all becoming a blur, but we'll take what we can get, right?
Right. So, you know, I would love if they had, obviously I'm coming for the cruise. I would love if they had something around my birthday, which is in June. Fingers crossed. If honestly, if they do the deep cuts thing, there's like no question I'll be there. Yeah. So I guess just looking forward to hopefully new music, and then everything else is a surprise, I guess. They got to have some downtime, right?
Well, you know, they had 15 years off. It's okay, right?
This is true. Donnie doesn't need sleep. No. He just needs to make everyone else not sleep.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So out of all of 2022, did you have, like, what was your legendary moment of the whole year?
Oh my God. That is such a hard question, because I think I was talking to my friend about this, and she was like, your whole year was legendary. I'm like, this is true. I guess like, probably, like, okay, if I had to pick, like, it's hard to pick one moment, so I'll pick one night.
Sure.
So I think the last night on the cruise, GPS night, was mind-blowing for me, because, I mean, like everyone says, you know, and I've been prepped about this, like, the cruise is about your friends. So go on, enjoy time with your friends, and anything that happens with the guys is a bonus. But the guys were just like, I felt really spoiled. Like, they gave me a lot of attention, and it was almost like, oh my God, they know me. Like, they know who I am. Like, little 13-year-old Jenny would never believe that Donnie knows who she is, and Jordan can pick her up in a crowd, and, you know, maybe not Joe, but like John will speak to her. Maybe now Joe, but so on GPS night, I had like special interactions with everyone except Joe. So Jordan was very sweet, and I threw out my kangaroo into the audience, and he waved it in and danced with it on the main stage. And then he came up.
Was it an inflatable one?
Yeah, it was like a massive inflatable. I had like big one and then 2 little ones, right? So the 2 little ones were Joey's for Joey, but, you know, I didn't get.
Were they the ones that, like, you press the back and then it, like,
no,
their arms open?
It was about this big.
Oh,
It was an inflatable one. It was about this big, and I was like, oh, I'll give them to Joe. Like, they're Joey's for Joey, and he can give them to Kira or whatever. But so I was like on the first elevation next to the stage up the top. So if you're facing the stage, it's the one on the left.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was with like the German girls who was on, like I'm good friends with them, and I wanted to spend that night with them. So we went and stood next to them. Me and Cherie's Magic. We were together. She's my cruise buddy.
She's from Australia as well, right?
She's from Adelaide.
Oh.
So we're in a different city. Yeah. So anyway, so Jordan actually came up to where I was, and it's Jordan. He kind of loitered for a little bit, and then he looked at me a few times, and then I handed him, and I had this ready, and I kind of lost my mind and didn't even think of it when he was first doing it, like walking around. But I bought like an Australian flag, which was a cape. And I was like, oh, wait, I got this cape. So I took it off me and I handed it to him. And so he didn't know what he was looking at, and he explained what it was. And then he put it on, and Cherie had some like glasses for him to wear. So I handed him the glasses, and he was very cute. He like posed for me and then did a little dance, and then came back and took everything off and handed it to me. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. And he was like, and then gave me a wink and a thumbs up. And then I started handing him things from other people because he would take it from me. I was like, thanks, Jordan. So Jordan did that. And then, so this was all like within, I don't know, like an hour of each other. So Jordan did that. And then not long after that, Donnie came up, and so did John. So John actually came up and grabbed one of the kangaroos, and he was a bit drunk, but we love drunk John. Right. He took the little Joey, and he was like, do kangaroos really box? And I was like, yeah, they do. So he was like, I'm going to try. And he's like boxing the little kangaroo, and he's like, yeah, okay. And then, sorry?
I said, could he be any cuter?
Oh my God, I love John so much. He's just the cutest. And then so that was like John, and John was actually there at the same time. Oh, just before Donnie actually. And then Donnie came up and, did his Donnie thing. And I think he knew I was there because he had seen me and kind of did this at me to like living on a prayer. And then he came up, and then, and I kind of, when I'm not filming, I'm like dancing like an insane person. So I think they like that. And then, I'm just like going nuts. And so he came up, which this was like incredible. This is all on my page if people want to see photos of it, and videos and things. So I was like, at the railing. So there's like glass and then the railing, right? Yeah. And then stages on the other side. So Donnie actually came up and sat on the railing in front of me, and then leaned back into the crowd. So I always have my phone in my left hand filming, right? And so, but he leaned back into the crowd, so I was literally holding him up like a baby. Like,
I remember that picture of yours.
Right, me on one side, and then someone else on the other side. So I had like my right hand back, and my left hand was like under his leg.
And your phone, right, is in
the phone. Is like this, but it's in between his legs, and it was like the camera was on, but I wasn't filming, right? Oh, okay. And as he's coming up, he looks at my phone and goes, "Oh my God!" Like, because it's pointed at his crotch, and I was like, "No." And I was like, "No, Donnie, no, it's not on." And he laughed and gave me a hug, and then left. So I guess like if I had to pick one moment,
you could pick the whole night. Those all sound incredible. It would not be fair.
And I think Danny also, like, I think a few times he kind of did this and was like smiling at me, and I was like, oh, it is me. Like, I sort of turned around and there was just a wall, so I'm like, oh, okay, it's me. Hi, Danny. But yeah, so the whole night was amazing because I think it was like a culmination of the year, and I realized finally at that point, and believed that they all knew who I was, or at least knew my face. And they were thanking me basically for the year, and like in their way, saying thanks for everything, goodbye. And it was like really unbelievable, I guess. Yeah, to me. So yeah.
So many people said that GPS night was their legendary moment of the cruise.
Right.
Yeah, so many special, special
Like
interactions.
I have many special moments from mixtape as well.
Yeah.
And I actually did a podcast with Dope Nostalgia. So there is an episode where I talk for hours about a few things, but there was a legendary moment with Donnie, like you know, and Jenny and Jordan, like in that podcast. So I won't repeat it. But yeah, it was an incredible year. So very hard to pick like just one moment. Yeah. But that will be it.
It's like how can you beat 2022? But good things happen to you, Jenny. So 2023 is going to be.
I hope so. You know, it feels like, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, but especially with Donnie, like you it's not just he knows my face. You feel like he sees you, right? Like as a person, like you feel like there's a connection. He sees you, he cares about you. And so it's like, okay, well, I need to see my friend again. Not that I'm his friend, but you know what I mean? Like, so it feels like it can only get better because it'll be a deeper level of love and a deeper level of respect and a deeper level of joy, which people won't understand unless they're Blockhead.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And yeah, it's very hard to explain, right? If you never felt.
But you know what? You've done a really good job. You've done a really good job sharing, your experiences and, putting into words what it all means for you, because it's the same for all of us. And, we all have, and then there are unique experiences and unique perspectives from all of us, right? But generally, being seen and being a part of the community is such a part of the experience.
It's so special. Yeah. It really is. There's, when people from here, like, my non-Blockhead friends are like, you got to see them again? Didn't you just go? Like, yes, but the joy is something you will never experience outside of New Kids. Like, and I said to Cherie when I came back, because she was like, oh, I'm going to go see Arctic Monkeys and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not going to be the same. I was like, I'm sorry, but it's not going to be the same. And I almost feel like I don't want to go to any of the concerts because I'll be disappointed.
I know.
Because
I like to have my last concert. I like to have my last concert always be a New Kids concert. You know what I mean? I feel like if I go another concert, it like erases the New Kids show.
Well, no. You know what? It's more than that. It's like, okay, I've been to a lot. I love music, so I've been to a lot of concerts in my lifetime. But nothing is like New Kids, and I know, like, unless it's like New Edition or Janet or something, but even then I'll be like, I'm not connecting with Janet. You know what I mean? Like they connect with everyone, like in the crowd, and nobody does that.
Yeah.
And the joy you feel is unlike any other concert. So I'd be like, all right, I've got $2,000. What do I want to spend it on? New Kids.
Right. And you know what? Like, when you mentioned the connection that we have, or that they create in these experiences, it's like, no other people do this, especially post-COVID. Like, as we're moving through COVID and, we will get through this, there will be concerts again. But New Kids, like, they're not going to come into the audience and do tonight. They're not going to do, like, they're going to do meet and greets with a glass wall, with a plexiglass in between us, right? And they're back. Exactly the way it was before. There was a period where they were wearing masks, understandable, but in spite of the pandemic, they're still making those connections and having
during
like
during the pandemic, give us a virtual cruise, to give us all the Zoom calls they jumped in on, to give us the extra social media. Or someone today shared on YouTube, Donnie went live with Danny during the pandemic, and they just were talking about how much they missed all of us. Like, that's the things too, that, like, I don't see anyone else giving their fans.
And not for free. There were some that were doing those online, but there is a fee.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like, I dare you to find another celebrity that connects with as many people on Twitter and Instagram than Donnie Wahlberg. Like, really.
Yeah.
The man
We're putting that challenge out there.
Yeah.
If anybody can find someone,
if you can find someone,
it's not gonna happen.
We'll think of a gift.
Yeah.
But you won't.
Yeah.
And
no.
you know, and they always say, you know, don't thank us. You know, you guys are you're the best fans in the history of music. Well, it's because of you. It's because of them. Like, it's because of how they are with us. Yeah, I don't think people get that, like, outside of the Blockhead community.
You know what? All they need to do is come to one concert. Just come to one concert.
This is
and
true.
Then you're done.
So when I was in Chicago, this is so true. When I was in Chicago, I stayed with my high school friend who now she married a man from America, and they now live in Chicago. So I stayed with her, and thankfully she didn't live very far from Wahlburgers in St. Charles, so that was handy, and Rosemont. And I said, "Oh, do you want to come to a concert?" Because she was more into BSB. I don't know why, she just was. And she was, honestly, I could see mayhem coming out of her pores. Like, she was freaking out. She was freaking out when Donnie sang Cover Girl, and then Joe came really close to us because we were kind of near stage B, and then she was freaking out, and then she was like, I don't know if I'm a Donnie girl or a Joe girl. It was so funny. And then she said, why didn't you get us better seats? And I was like, well, I didn't know if you wanted to, like, invest. And then she's like, well, when they go to Fenway, I'm coming. And I'm like, are you a blockhead now? Yeah, but it only takes one concert. It's hilarious. Yeah.
Well, and you
So
also
good.
have to explain to her when she's asking you, why didn't you get me better seats? It's like, this is like serious, you know, like the new kids situation is serious. You can't just, you got to plan, you got to strategize.
Yeah. I'm like, if we get better
months
seats. Right. And I was like, you know, if we get better seats, we can get bar stools and there'll be meet and greet. And she was like, oh no, I can't meet them. I'm like, wow.
You say that now.
Why not? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, it's incredible. Like, and you know, I knew it would be amazing. I had no idea how amazing like the experience was ever gonna be. And I feel like a year ago, I knew nothing, you know? Well, I didn't. I knew nothing a year ago. And then now I feel like I lead like this two parts of my life, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's my normal life, and then that's just like biding time for the next time I see the new kids. It's just a bit crazy.
I think everyone here
It's
can
great.
relate to that. Yeah.
And now
Right.
you're to the point where, like, you're going to get FOMO for everything. You're to see your friends at these events and go, oh, I need to be there. I need to be there next time. You know, it's a little overwhelming.
Actually,
so fun.
Actually, I'll share a story. Like, I wish Donnie was here so he could hear it, but maybe he'll look at this later and hear it. But
tag him.
So I'm a physio, and I work with kids with disabilities. And I have a young lady that I see at the moment. Well, she's 13, and she's at that difficult age where it's very hard to motivate her, and she has some behavioral issues as well, and she just had a huge amount of surgery to correct her bones and things, so she had to learn to walk again. So I've been getting her back up and walking, and her only motivator is Donnie Wahlberg stories. I'm like, I'm running out, I don't have any more, because the whole conversation started because she saw my phone and she was like, who's that guy? And I'm like, oh, well, that's my first crush. So she started telling me about her first crush, which is like a Disney guy, I don't even remember. And then she confuses Jordan with Donnie. And because I said something about Jenny, and she's a huge Masked Singer fan. And she was like, as in Jenny McCarthy? And I'm like, yes, Jenny McCarthy. So now every session it's like, do you have any Donnie stories? And I'm like, I don't live with the man. I don't have stories all the time. So funny.
So you have to keep up these adventures and create these, you know, interactions so you can help her.
I know. So I literally have to be like, okay, if you're really good today, I will tell you one story, because I have to space them out.
Oh my gosh.
So funny. So like, they've totally infiltrated my entire life, basically.
Well, you know, hopefully throughout 2023, you'll be able to collect a lot more stories, and particularly like Donnie's stories that you can share with her and help her through her rehabilitation.
That's right. It is now for my job.
Yes. Yes. This is now work.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, Jenny, thank you so much for joining us. Ashley, did you have any more questions?
No, this has been a really fun conversation. Thank you for taking the time from overseas to join us and
on a holiday.
Melanie,
of course. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Melanie alluded to the Joe story, the flight story, but like I had no idea anything about it. So that was so much fun to hear.
Oh, you didn't
really
know about? Oh, you didn't know about me and
No.
Joe. So now you can go on my page and have a look at the selfie. Because it's like it didn't happen unless there's proof, right? But you did.
Okay,
you did
I swear my
Jordan
airport that happened.
Yeah,
I just happened. It's in my head.
I believe that. I think I wouldn't have asked Jordan either because he would just run away from me. I swear he walks away from me as people are getting selfies. He's just like, goodbye. But yeah. Oh, well, that's cool.
Thank you, Jenny. And you know what? We're going to let you run along and go enjoy the rest of your day off. Thanks for joining us.
Where you are.
It's almost 11 p.m. where I'm at. Yeah. Okay, well, so I'm about ready to go to bed. So we're going to be signing off. Yeah. Thank you, Jenny.
Good. Thank you.
All right, take care.
You. Bye. Bye.
Ashley,
just never lack of good stories.
Right? So many good stories. And some, a lot of them are unexpected. We were, prepared for some of these, and it's so fun to hear them and to just get us, before, when we started doing these lives, it was to help recover and deal with the post-cruise depression. And now this is just like warming us up and getting us ready for whatever they have in store for us this year.
Yeah. And the fact that there are so many stories that we haven't heard yet about what happened, and then bringing into as things continue to start to roll out, the excitement around that. I'm excited. This has been, I say this every week, but thank you for being here. Thank you, Melanie, for reaching out to me in the initial part and getting this all rolling. But if anyone out there watching has like a really incredible story about the tour or the cruise or anything like that, please reach out to us too, so we can, maybe have you on and have you share your story as well. Because that's what we're here for, is to help each other grow in our love of the fan base and each other. I don't know what to say.
And you know what? Even if you've never been on to the tour, if you've never been on a cruise, if you've never met them, that's okay. If you want to share your journey as a blockhead, we'd love to hear from you. Because like somebody said a few weeks ago, it was Deb who said, doesn't make you less of a blockhead than those of us who've had these experiences. So we'd love to hear from all of you. So please message us and keep us posted, because we only know so many people, right? So really, we're relying on our networks to find people. Yes. This has been a blast.
Yep, appreciate you guys watching. On to the next. So Houston's coming up. We'll announce who's joining us next week soon. And then we'll all be celebrating whatever happens in Houston.
Yep. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Yeah. Bye. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a good night.